Hey, how about you, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Live Recruiting Show. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lee, Senior Recruiting Editor for Auburn Live on 3. Today is September the 10th. For us, we're recording on September the 10th. You're listening to us on September the 11th, so keep that in mind moving forward. If we mess up and say today, tomorrow, or yesterday, we'll try not to, but you know how we are. We mess up. We make mistakes. We get erroneous sometimes. All right, we got an intel-packed show. We're going to get to some questions from the corners, some Habachis, and here to do it all with me, as always, Mr. Allen Head, Mr. Cole Pinkston. How about you, fellas?
How about you?
How about you, big dog?
How about you, brother? You know, it's been a week, right? It's been a week already on the corner.
Oh my God, dude!
But I'm looking forward to seeing some of these questions tonight. I think we may be in line for some good recruiting talk.
I think we're going. It's been the response from the corner. I'm so proud of them for being so reasonable, logical, and it's been impressive. I had low expectations for them, and they have exceeded them by miles. Oh, my goodness. We are going to get to some questions from the corner, but before we do, I want to remind everybody in Auburn, Opelika, Lee County, if you need some real estate needs, I got the help you need right here. Jessica Andrews with the Talents Group. She is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. If you don't believe me, just ask old Pinkston. He'll tell you. Yeah. And if you say he's a liar, I'll slap you upside the head. I swear to God, I will. Give her a call, man. 334-704-4442. My gosh, that's a lot of fours, Allen Head, but she is a 5-star realtor. Absolutely 5-star realtor. Give her a call, man. 334-704-4442. As always, tell her we sent you. All right, fellas, let's get to some questions from the corner. Let's get right into it. Let's don't waste any time. War Eagle 07. Get us started, big dog. Why doesn't Hugh Freeze take quarterback commits early? This is a good question. I saw where Deuce Knight was ready to commit last October, but we weren't ready, and now it feels like we are playing catch-up. I wouldn't argue with that. Allen, you look like you were ready to speak. Let's go. Why doesn't Hugh Freeze take quarterback commits early?
Sure. Well, if you look back to the prior class with Walker White, obviously the coaching staff had just gotten here early December, late November. There really wasn't an opportunity to take someone early, and they made a very quick decision that the quarterback recruit that was in that class was not someone that was fit for their offense. So they parted ways there relatively quickly. And I think the young man landed at UAB. That said, they ID'd Walker pretty quick. But remember, you had a transition at offensive coordinator, which probably delayed. And I don't think that Deuce Knight was somebody that Philip Montgomery was overly high on. That's my understanding of the situation. He had other quarterbacks that were higher on his list. Currently, the young man that's committed to Georgia was exceptionally high on his list of quarterback targets. And I think if Philip Montgomery stays on staff, you probably see more action down that avenue. But being that you changed quarterback coaches, being that you changed offensive coordinators, I think that kind of changed who they were targeting. So my hope is, and I think you will see this, you've seen a quarterback from California come out multiple times over, that they're probably going to get their 26 quarterback target in the class sooner rather than later. But as it pertains to the 25, I think it's more situational. And we'll kind of see. It's not ideal to be behind the 8 ball, but I do believe it's understandable given you had a transition at coordinator and quarterback coach.
Cole?
Well, I think during the time frame that Deuce Knight was being talked about a lot in regards to Auburn, I think. Let me think about what time frame was that? Was that around the portal?
Before that, it was probably last September, October-ish. Yeah.
Okay, last fall. Okay. Yeah. So I think. Well, number one, you've had sort of a regime change with your quarterback coaches with Ken Austin moving up, Philip Montgomery. That's a good point, Allen. I think they just want to get it right. So they're trying to wait until maybe senior film or at least summer. Maybe you get to have a private workout with them in the summer. I think that's what they wanted. Now, if you were to go to Hugh Freeze, Ken Austin, and say, do you wish you'd have done it differently? I'm sure they would probably say yes at this point.
Yeah.
But I also understand why they want to get it right, because quarterback evals, the hardest thing in the world right now. I mean, even guys out of the portal that seem like sure things aren't necessarily turning out to be sure things. At least,
DJ Uga Labiba.
I mean, it happens every year. It's not new. Quarterback evals are extremely tough. You just never know who's going to be the guy who's going to be able to handle pressure situations. Because when you evaluate them, they're not really in pressure situations. They don't know pressure situations until they get to college, okay, and actually playing a game, and that's a whole different thing. So it's tough. It's really tough to do. I think they wanted to try to evaluate and get it right, and they may have waited too long. I think they would probably tell you that.
I think both of you are making some great points, and I will add on that I think Walker White was a February commitment, so there's only really been 1 year this year because they've only been here for 1.5, going back to getting in early December of 2022.
Yes.
Then you get Walker White in February. They signed Peyton Thorne, I think, in that. When did they sign Peyton? Did they sign him in the spring?
April.
They signed him in the spring. So you had Walker White in February, Peyton Thorne in April, and then this year's really the only year they haven't gotten an early commitment from a quarterback. But if you think back, they were in on Deuce, like you said, Alan, didn't fit whatever Philip Montgomery was doing at the time, and then you think they went all in on Usman Longstreet.
Yep.
So Cole, they wanted to get it right. They wanted this guy. This was the guy they wanted. They didn't get him, so they turned to this guy. This is the guy they wanted. They stuck with it. It was Juju.
Right.
And then now it's Deuce, so they want to get it right. I don't think it's anything like we're going to see. I'm like Cole. They want to get it. They want to get this done. So I think just some things working against them, losing out on Usman, which they put all their eggs in that basket.
Yeah, they did.
They flirted like hell with Juju until they were put off by some of the tactics of his people.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's fair, right? It was peripheral things. It wasn't necessarily the direct recruitment. It was the situation around it. And one other thing I'll add to that, Jeffrey, and I think this is something that you reported, so I'm taking your word on it, but it's something that I've bounced off other people. Live in-game evaluation is big to them, and being able to see them throw live, I think, makes a difference. So that may also explain why they were a little bit delayed, because they were trying to do some spring visits to see guys actually throw before they decided who they were going to go truly all in on.
And you think about the 2026 guys and how Jesse Stone has been very active on the recruiting trail for Auburn, that 2026 class. He's been out to California several times already. Luke Leahy Fahey was in this past weekend. There was Ryder Lyons was in 2 weeks ago. So they've gotten an early jump. Plus, these guys, this was really the only class, the 2025 class, where they got here in time. And I don't even know that they were probably a little late on this class. If you go back to December of 2022, that was 1.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And all these other staffs have been recruiting these guys since they were, 10th grade, 9th, 10th grade. So these guys are still a year behind in quarterback recruiting.
Yes, especially in like other positions, they're not – quarterbacks come first, right? Jeffrey, you've reported that. That's something that we all know, that you want the quarterback to build around in your class. And so they get evaluated at a significantly earlier rate than other positions. And they get locked into classes, in an earlier time frame. So, yes, absolutely behind the 8 ball as it pertains to the 2025 quarterback recruiting class. And I'll be honest with you, I kind of pushed back on Cole initially when he said, hey, there's a real opportunity for there to be 2 transfer portal quarterbacks in this class. I think that's a possibility at this point. I do.
Do you think somebody else besides, obviously Peyton's done with his eligibility, do you think another, like a Holden, would have to leave for there to be 2, or do you think Holden stays, Hank, Walker, and then you add 2 from the portal if you don't get one in the 2020? Which I'm still of the belief Auburn signs the 2025 quarterback.
Yes, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, I think they're going to target a 2025 guy. But if something doesn't materialize, right, that's where I'm saying now, to me, it becomes a little bit more of a realistic situation that you might sign a young one from the portal.
There you go.
And a veteran.
There you go.
I think that's open now, but I think the preference of the staff, and I'm with you there, and I don't think Cole would push back on this, the preference is to sign a 2025 quarterback from that recruiting class if it's one they like. I don't think they're just going to take anybody though.
So yeah, the preference is that has that passed? Let's say if Deuce Knight is completely out, has that passed? I question that a little bit. I don't question the premise at all, Alan. I definitely think that's what they want, but has it gotten too far at this point? I question that.
Sure.
I gut feeling here is transfer portal. Like you said, maybe 2. That's my gut feeling at this point.
Okay. Well, I think it's definitely 1. And if you don't get a 2025, I think maybe 2.
Definitely.
Yeah, there you go. I'm of the belief they're bringing in somebody to compete for a starting job, almost expecting to be the starter, to be that crossover.
Yes.
Although, and this is the other thing with recruiting in general, not just quarterbacks. You really just can't make these final calls, and even though we do try to make these mock classes, we do the best we can. It's just a gauge of where everything's at. That's how I go about it, at least.
Sure.
You can't really make a determination until the season hits. That's a big deal. And you never know how that's going to go. What if Hank Brown's the guy that steps up and becomes a great quarterback for Auburn? Then everything changes.
Yeah, it does. I mean, if Hank were to go out there and win, go 7-5 this year and look really, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, that absolutely changes the paradigm, right?
Absolutely. No, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just saying it could,
Yeah.
Sure.
No,
yeah. There won't be any final decisions made on this until at least December. I mean, right? You want to know where your class is. You want to know what your quarterback situation is moving forward. So,
proof to what you're saying, I don't think there was one of us that wasn't convinced they were going to get a portal quarterback when you were about 2 weeks out from the end of the season. 2 to 3 weeks out from the end of the season, I think everybody on this panel would tell you they're going to go get a portal quarterback. And then I think Peyton put together 3 pretty good performances against Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, and then he played well I'm going to give him credit. He played
Alabama.
well in the Iron Bowl. And I think that changed the thought process of Hugh Freeze. I honestly believe that. And that's where we are today. So that tells you how quickly what is true today can be completely false tomorrow.
Absolutely.
That is how recruiting works.
Good stuff, big dog. Y'all tripping. We are. We absolutely are. How important are the next 4 games for holding this class together? Are these next 4 games important in holding these classes together? You got New Mexico, Arkansas, Oklahoma. Who's the first road game?
Georgia.
Oh. I hate to ask.
Well, nobody expects you to beat Georgia.
How about the next 3? Let's do that. Y'all tripping?
You got to win 2. I mean, there's no.
You can't lose New Mexico.
At least.
You got to win at least 2. You cannot. Go ahead.
You got to beat New Mexico, and you've got to at least win 1 of 2 against Arkansas and Oklahoma.
Yes.
Yeah.
You cannot lose both those. Because here's the thing. Whereas I think some of us, and I'm including myself in this, right? Like we make all these predeterminations before the season, and you look at how Auburn handled Arkansas a year ago, and you think, hey, that's a win, right? Now you look at last Saturday, and you look at the Arkansas team that lined up and the passion they played with and how sharp they looked offensively at times.
Yes.
That game is not a gimme anymore.
Bobby Petrino's still really good.
Yeah, he is, man. He's, motorcycle and all. He's still good. Okay. Yep. But
that dude, I mean, his offenses are fantastic.
Yeah, man. He can really call plays. He has I think what Bobby does, and we need to talk about recruiting, but what he does extremely well is he puts defenses in conflict, and I'm talking about pre-snap and post-snap, right? Like he does that exceptionally well.
Yeah.
But Arkansas is not a gimme. Oklahoma's not a gimme. Georgia's, that's an L. I'm going to be on record right now. That's an L. You got Missouri, that's a tough matchup. Kentucky, that's, I don't know what to expect from Kentucky.
Feeling better about them, at least just from what little I saw against South Carolina.
Yeah,
shit. If you're a Kentucky fan, you're feeling a lot better about the Auburn game after seeing them against Cal.
Hell yeah, you are. Vanderbilt looks much improved this year.
Yeah.
Don't know what to expect from A&M. So the slate is very unsure for Auburn right now. You got to win 2 out of these next 3, or you're going to be in trouble, man.
I think I'm sorry, y'all tripping. It's already failed my test, and it was all of us. We didn't think we were going to see a 10-win team. No. We wanted to see a team, a competent offense, Saturday was exactly what we witnessed 5 to 6 times last year. It was that all over again. That was the most disappointing thing about Saturday was, it wasn't like Auburn has to win 10 to have a number 3 class. It was Auburn has to look improved. They have to look competent on offense. The basics, the bare necessities. And they failed to do that against the first, pushback team of the season. And I think that was the biggest disappointment for me is the incompetence on offense. But all right, we'll keep it going. Hamburglar, how are things looking with Usman Kromah after his Georgia visit? Do y'all think he stretches his commitment date out? I have a little bit of intel here. First of all, if you read Chad Simmons' story Saturday evening, it was after his Georgia visit.
Mm-hmm.
And he said some really impressive things about Auburn. He said Hugh Freeze is doing what Nick Saban did at Alabama, what Kirby Smart did at Georgia. He's building, I don't know if he used the word dynasty or something. He's building his program with big-time recruits, and that's something that I could be a part of. I thought that stood out to me a lot. That quote stood out to me, and especially right after the Cal game. But I will say this. This is what I've gathered about Usman Kromah in the past 72 hours. Georgia has decided he is a take.
Yep.
Florida State is slipping. It's more of an Auburn Georgia thing now. Georgia has decided he's a take, but they aren't going to overextend NIL wise to get him.
Nope.
So they're almost like, hey, if you want to come, great, come on, we would love to have you, but we're not going to throw these bags at you. Whereas I think Auburn might. I don't know that, Alan. You know probably more about that than I do. I think Auburn would put a very good pack because he's a top target.
No, yeah. I'm with you, and I think Cole would. I want to get Cole's take here, but no, I absolutely think that the NIL offer from Auburn is better than the one from Georgia, no question. To me, where it becomes the question is does Usman Kromah see things offensively from Auburn? Are we productive in a clip that is enticing to him beyond money? Because I don't think it's all money for him either. From what I've been able to gather, I think the trajectory of the team and his placement and involvement within the offense, how featured is the running back, matters to him. So we know Georgia features the running game over there. Didn't see as much of that this past weekend from Auburn. My guess is we see a lot of it this coming weekend against New Mexico.
I was going to ask Cole that. Cole, you think that's – because I would expect so too. A lot of running against – this would be a good game for Kromah to watch.
Yeah, we talked to Jeremiah Wright today. And
run the damn ball.
He was like, yeah, we're going to run it some more. Of course, he also said, I thought we were going to do that more last week.
He wasn't the only one.
But anyway, I if you're running back watching last week, you're probably going, I don't know about that.
Right.
So they're going to have to, it's you almost have to get into the football side of things here because it does affect recruiting, right? And I think that the best recruiting tool for Auburn is to win. And I think that the best way, and I'll have a story on this Wednesday morning, probably as you're watching this, for Auburn to win right now is to run the ball. So I do think that it's going to line up okay for Usman Kromah as this goes along.
Yeah, and that's my thing. Do they lock the reads on the RPO? Do they lock the reads on the option? Give some more predetermined run game action. Get creative there because I think that's what they got to do, Cole. I think
I'm going to have some numbers on that, by the way.
You should.
So basically, when they decided to take out all the reads and just run the ball and keep it simple, I'm going to tell you how many yards they made on that. You'll be surprised.
And people are taking this as us taking shots at Peyton Thorne when we talk about locking the reads or making pre-designed run calls. This is for the offensive line as well as it is for Peyton. It has zero – it's about cohesion and playing together and everybody being on the same page and not necessarily one individual player. So
Right.
I think everybody needs to understand this is more about the operation and not necessarily one person.
Tar Heel Tiger, can we get a little how we got here with Deuce? How does it go from almost a done deal to maybe not even going to happen?
Knew that was coming.
I don't know if y'all want to read that, how we got here.
I actually think we can make a full plus show after the recruiting class is done.
I like it.
Tar Heel Tiger, that's exactly, Alan, what I was. I could get you to here, but it's going to be a lot more interesting. I can give a lot more details when this is all over. Let's save that one for a plus.
Yeah.
I'll answer it. Just right now, a very quick answer.
Yeah.
I think, again, we'll talk about it more, but just I want to go into my why do I not trust quarterbacks? Why do I not want to do that? Why does that make me nervous to try to make a prediction on a quarterback? Because I think they're generally nice guys who don't want to play any games about their recruitments. I think that's a big part of it. And I think Deuce Knight, who is committed to Notre Dame, is committed to Notre Dame. And he believes in it. And maybe that's not specific to Deuce Knight. It's just something I've noticed with quarterbacks. They don't like the games necessarily.
I'll give you my Cliff's notes on this. I'll give you details later, but I'll give you the intel. Yeah. The intel coming, the intel we've been hearing for the past since Big Cat has mostly been from the Auburn side of things, and there's been a lot of confidence from the Auburn side of things. And I don't think we started hearing Deuce's side until about a week and a half ago. And I think that's where everybody was going. I think the Auburn side was very confident in Deuce, and then when you got a little bit of the Deuce's side, you realize that maybe it wasn't a slam dunk. Mm-hmm. And I think the intel, the sources, changed a little bit there to change the narrative. I think you're seeing more of both sides now, as opposed to just one side. The past since Big Cat.
Yeah,
I'll explain all that later, but I hope that makes a little bit of sense. Alan?
No, I was just going to say you're spot on.
Okay. All right, Carter Mann. Considering the fact that Naim Offord wanted to see Auburn improve in terms of record, do you see the staff getting him in the boat before signing day or on early signing day? I want to see Auburn improve in terms of record. Is that a fact?
I don't remember exactly, but I mean, obviously it wouldn't hurt if Auburn was better.
No,
I don't remember him saying, I want to see Auburn win more than 7 games.
No, I don't think he ever put a number on it. I think he wanted to see Auburn play at a, at what he would consider more of a
competitive.
Yeah. Competitive level, right? Like, I mean, I think he wanted to see improvement for sure. What prospect doesn't?
Yeah.
My information on Offord, I know what the buzz has been, but I trust my gut a little bit on this one, and I think it's going to be signing day before anything happens with him. I think it's going to be later in the cycle at this point.
I'm with you on that. Cole thinks it's going to be soon.
Well, no, not necessarily. I personally think, though, the biggest thing is not necessarily winning or improvement. I think it's more about he's going to have a decision to make when it gets down to the end. Do I want to go all the way to Ohio State, or do I want to stay closer to home? I think that's the key.
Agreed. And I think because that's the pitch to me, that's the win for Auburn on this one, it's going to come later in the cycle, I believe.
And don't forget how big of a role Minor High School is playing in this recruitment.
I hear you, big dog.
Tenacious Tigers, baby. I do think Naim is not so much about win-loss record and stuff. I think he sees the class. He sees the state being dominated. He sees the potential future at Auburn being a part of that. I think that means a lot more to him than whether or not Auburn's, winning 6 or 8 games.
Agreed.
Helps. Yeah.
All right, Jay Lee's Pinkhead. Which offensive line recruit or commit could be the most ready to step in next year if needed? I don't know if y'all saw the film from Andrew Babalola. Holy cow.
Yeah, man. He's about ready.
He's something else.
Holy cow. I don't know much about offensive linemen, but I know that dude is good.
Yep, he's good.
He's really good.
He is surefire, I think.
No, I'm with you. No, I wouldn't say Kansas is a state that traditionally puts out a ton of Power 5 prospects, so consider who he's playing against.
Okay.
But he may be, from an Auburn standpoint, as far as getting on the field early, he's probably as surefire a prospect to get on the field early as Braden Smith. You know what I mean? Like, when I think about guys that were ready to step on the field early, because I think Connor Lew may even hit the field a little bit earlier than he should have. Right?
I hear you. Mm-hmm. I saw him get pulled over a couple of times. Cole, did I not?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Braden Smith was a guy, as a true freshman and redshirt freshman, he was ready to play, like physically ready to play.
Was that JB Grimes?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Damian Craig, of all people.
And they signed him out of high school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a big one. I remember it very clearly.
Yeah, he was deciding between Auburn and Texas Christian, right?
Nebraska,
TCU.
maybe.
No. Nebraska was in there, but I think it was Texas Christian because his sister went there. I think she went to TCU, and so it came down between those two. And, of course, Auburn was hot that year on the field, and that helped in the end.
Yeah, yeah. And I think as far as commit, y'all know I'm really high on Tavares Dice.
I was about to bring him up because I know you loved him.
I do. I think he's physically ready, and I don't think it'll be too long before he's mentally ready to be a starter on that level. And he thinks I think that's a big key in his recruitment as well, and what would keep him at Auburn, that he's got early playing time potentially lined up with the way it shakes out. And then, I agree. To me, the one that's sort of a wild card, and he could be first year guy that comes in and plays and starts. He could be like a Tyler Johnson, who's redshirt freshman. He's already in there starting. Is Brody Scholl, because I know he's got the mind for it. I know he's got the mentality. I like everything about him, and then his athletic ability is through the roof as far as it concerns offensive linemen.
Okay.
I like Brody. I do. I think he's going to take, in my opinion, I think he's going to have to add a little bit more weight, and it's going to take him a little bit longer. But you're right about the athleticism, Cole. To me, Jacoby Ward is more ready to play early.
Yeah, forgot about Jacoby.
I think him and TJ Dice are the two that you're going to see sooner rather than later as far as the current commits, should everybody that's in the class right now sign.
Right.
I like it. All right, second scan 23, not to be confused with second scan 24. How long does Auburn wait on a decision from Deuce before looking elsewhere or going all in on a potential portal guy? We agree that okay. Would the potential porter guy be the second portal guy in this scenario?
I think they're asking if a portal player is going to replace Deuce in this class, and I don't know. I mean, I think they're going to take both, right? Like, in an ideal world, Auburn gets a vet from the portal because Peyton Thorne is out of eligibility. And then you also sign a high school player that you really like. That is the ideal scenario here.
I agree. So how long does Auburn wait on Deuce before looking elsewhere? For a few more weeks at least. If he's got an official visit scheduled for the Oklahoma game.
Yeah.
You're obviously not making a move before then. And
if you are, you're doing it.
Backup plan.
Yeah, you're starting to cultivate options, right? You're figuring out who's interested in coming to visit Auburn at this point, because I think in recruiting you've always got to be one step ahead. But you're not going to get too far down the road with any one prospect until you know exactly what Deuce is going to do. But I do think you're probably at the stage, if you're being smart, that you're cultivating some options right now and you're putting some feelers out to see who's interested.
Yeah, I wrote in the War Room Tuesday that I think I said I wouldn't be surprised if Auburn started contacting other quarterbacks. I think that's not out of the realm of possibility to see soon. But as far as pushing or, replacing Deuce at the top, I don't see that happening until Deuce gives them an absolute no.
And let me run this by you guys, because this isn't – I think it kind of depends on Notre Dame too, right? Like, does Notre Dame season – do they get another loss or two?
Absolutely.
Do things become tenuous with Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame? Because if that becomes the situation, I think Auburn probably stays on Deuce. a little bit longer than maybe even one would have initially anticipated, right?
Which is why maybe the intel is starting to trend away from Auburn, but it's too far out from being like something you can call for sure.
Definitely, Cole.
Let's see what a welder's AU. I wonder if that's his name or if that's his occupation. I need a welder to fix my trailer hitch. Be an easy job. If anybody's listening, I could run it over there real quick, man. I'll pay you $50. I just need one weld. My trailer hitch. There's two pieces, and they need to be welded back together.
I hear you on that.
So let's see. Welder's AU. Sounds like Zelus Hicks, the 2026 cornerback, is set to commit on Thursday. I didn't see that. Is that true?
Yes. Well, yeah, he's scheduled for the 12th, I believe, which is Thursday. And I have not heard anything about Zelus Hicks in Auburn since the summer. So
No.
I don't
I'm
know,
actively
man.
looking for someone to change my pick to right now.
Well, I think y'all mentioned maybe Clemson. I mean, best guess at this point. Not Auburn, but maybe Clemson.
Yeah, not Auburn. Yeah,
that would make sense to me. Clemson recruits the Atlanta area extremely hard. I know that he recently visited for the Georgia Clemson game as a Clemson visitor. Don't know if that necessarily is who he's leaning towards, but I don't know that he's visited anybody else either. I think he's visited Auburn and he's visited Clemson, and I'm not exactly sure who else he's gone to see. I think he went to see UGA in the spring, but
Zach said the supposed contenders are Auburn, Clemson, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas.
That makes sense, but I don't know. Yeah, again, I would just say not Auburn at this point, and I really don't know, but Clemson would make a lot of sense to me if I'm just going with my gut reaction here. Maybe I'm wrong, man. Maybe it is Auburn and I just don't know about it, which could certainly be the case.
I don't think it is.
I agree. You're right, Cole. I'm with you in that you said this a while back, and it's something we've always said. You never speak in absolutes in recruiting.
No, don't do that.
So, I'm leaving the door open here.
Do y'all know, did he tweet that or Zelus?
I think that was a story he gave to 24/7. I'm trying to think it's Amy Adams or something Adams.
Anna Adams.
Anna Adams, that's who it is, that got the exclusive with him on that.
Hey, look, our first Deuce question.
Imagine that.
Hey, you know what? What was it on Zelus? Oh, maybe Texas.
Okay. How about you?
Auburn met. If Deuce stays with Notre Dame, who is the next target? We don't. I don't know.
No,
I don't think it's KJ Lacey. I don't think it's Juju Lewis. How about that? And
I just want. I'll say again. I don't know why I have a gut feeling that there won't be a quarterback in this class, but I've had that feeling for a long time. I mean, back to Julian Lewis, I never felt good about that ever.
No,
I always felt like KJ Lacey. If it was going to be somebody, it'd be him. But now that doesn't seem. But you never know. I mean, you never know. But I don't see it as of right now. I'm starting to not see Deuce as of right now, but we'll see. There's a lot to play out still with that.
Sure.
I'm leaning towards being portal or double portal.
I mean, again, what's true today might not be true tomorrow. So
it can change.
Alan, this point keeps getting lost, but let's don't forget about Marcus Freeman.
Yes.
Who says Notre Dame doesn't lose 2 of the next 4 or whatever?
Right. I mean, because I'm looking at their schedule, and they've got SC, which to me is a loss right now because they have to go out to Southern Cal. And if you can lose to Northern Illinois at home.
Well, they had a decent season last year, right?
Yeah. They were 9-3, I think.
They lost to Marshall week 2 last year.
Damn, right. Did they really?
Yeah.
I thought that was
now with Auburn's luck, they'll roll off about. Was it Auburn's luck? They'll roll off 8 wins in a row.
Let's pull up Notre Dame's schedule real quick. Give me just a second. Let's play the schedule game here
Okay.
on what we think with Notre Dame.
But I think that's important since they've lost to Northern Illinois.
You're right, Alan. It was 22. They lost to Marshall.
Who they have left coming up? Aren't they in a conference now? I grew up. They were independent. They were too good for everybody.
Still independent. So you have.
Are they really?
They still are. Yeah.
Were they never in the ACC or some shit? I don't.
They scheduling agreement with the ACC. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. But did they play? They still don't have a championship game though, do they?
No.
Dude, they either win the national title or they don't win anything.
That's pretty much it. That's where they're.
A lot of people have always viewed it as unfair because they didn't have a chance to lose in a conference championship game.
Very true.
Yeah. So, and here's the thing with Marcus Freeman. It has been up and down, man. Like they've got some fantastic wins, and then they've got all right. So you talked about losing to Marshall.
Yeah.
They lost to God. Who was it, man? That they lost to? It was like Louisville and lost terribly last year. They lost to Northern Illinois this year. Like the fan base there is a little bit tired of the up and down. And I think there are other people there that are wanting to see some more consistency from Marcus Freeman. So I don't think it is a given. I believe from people that I've spoken to that it is a very real possibility Marcus Freeman is hot seat talk by the time we get to the end of this year. But here's the schedule. They've got at Purdue, which I would favor Notre Dame there, Miami of Ohio, then Louisville, who's number 19 in the country right now, Stanford, at Georgia Tech, which is not an easy game, Navy, Florida State, UVA, Army, and at SC.
Hey, they play Navy and Army.
Yep.
So they could potentially go 6-4 over their next 10.
Yeah, they could,
which would make them 7-5.
Yeah, they could go 7-5. I'd probably I think they're probably more in the realm of 8-4 to 9-3 floor.
Yeah, me too.
If I had to guess, given because Florida State's trash right now, I don't see them losing to either of the service schools, Stanford, right. But games against Louisville, games against Georgia Tech, SC, those are losable games, man. And then that puts you at 8-4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And as Notre Dame, you've gone 9-3, 8-4, 8-4. Nah, man, that doesn't sit well with some people that still see Notre Dame as a prestigious university and a school that should be, one of the most.
Especially when you started number 5 in the preseason.
Yeah, started number 5 in the preseason. Riley Leonard's your quarterback. You've got all kinds of hype, and then you go 8-4, 9-3 again. Now it doesn't bode well for him. So I'm not trying to put Marcus Freeman on the hot seat, but I believe that there's some real traction there that they could look in a different direction if things don't get tightened up there in South Bend.
Zach, just to clarify, says they can only be the number 5 seed. Only the 4 best conference champions can earn a bye week in the new college football playoff. So there you go. All right, Cole, here's one to end it, big dog. JMK 205. Anything new noteworthy on the Babalola recruitment? His self-imposed deadline came and went without much intel from anywhere. Seems to be the norm here with that, Andrew.
Yeah, that tracks with what we said on maybe the last plus show or the last show that he ain't decided yet, which is good news for Auburn, if you ask me, because like we've said, it seems like Michigan is the choice that would make the most sense.
Yes.
With what we know about Andrew Babalola. I really do think that Auburn's in this. I've always said that. I still believe it. I don't think anything's changed in that regard. I know Stanford is still there and needs to be talked about, maybe Oklahoma too, but my intel is further away from those two and more about Auburn, Michigan, as it has been for a while. I think he's going to drag this a little while. He wanted to get it done before the season. Now he hasn't. Season's here. I think now he focuses on the season, and we'll have a decision whenever he gets to it.
Yeah. And if you're Auburn, like you said, I think if it had been an early decision, I would have favored Michigan.
Sure.
Heavily, in my honest opinion.
If he had, let's say, Alan, that he had come out and put a tweet or something and reaffirmed this deadline that he had, which was right before his season starts. And he said, okay, I'm going to have a decision. I'm going to make my announcement on the 10th, whatever.
Yep.
I would have said Michigan.
Yep. If I had an RPM, I would have put it in for Michigan at that point. I believe that to be true. But I'm with you. The longer this drags out, the more advantageous it is for Auburn. And I think if they can get him back for maybe an an unofficial visit, that would be a nice feather in Auburn's cap as far as being able to sell him, on the situation at Auburn and early playing time at Auburn. I don't know what the situation's like at Michigan. I know what the situation's like at Auburn.
Yeah.
I think that's an easy sell there.
It is.
Hey, fantastic. Believe it or not, I thought the questions tonight were fantastic. Zach did a great job of picking, Big Dog. Great questions asked. Zach picked some really good ones. Thought it made for a very insightful show. I learned a lot. I hope you did too. Before we go, I got some Habachis.
Okay.
And I would say, I think all of mine were before Saturday. After Saturday, I was on there only when I had to be. It ruins my day to go in there and look at some of the things people post. All right, I've got 11, so I'm gonna run down them pretty quickly.
All right.
How about you to War Eagle J Man? How about you to Albies Balls?
That's a good one.
He's been all over the place. He really has.
He wanted one last week, and he didn't get one, so he had a photo of Albie looking out into an empty stadium.
He's been doing the tiger with the Michael Jordan crying eyes. You guys seen that? Pretty funny.
Albie Ball's been on fire here lately.
Yes.
Oh, and had a question tonight. How about you to Jay Lee's Pinkhead?
Yeah.
And I thought about something. Times 2, Big Dog. I hear you. I always thought it Jay Lee's Pinkhead, right? But what do you get when you put all three of us together?
Yeah. You never realized that?
No, I thought it was my pink head.
No, I've always thought that it's the latter.
Y'all don't ever seen me go, Jay Lee's pink head?
I have. I just thought you were adding that for,
Yeah, I thought you were just,
It hit me today. I'm like, oh man, that could be like our group name.
I believe
right.
That's what it is.
Name our group next, right?
This is, and just so for your writing there, this is J Lee apostrophe S Pinkhead.
Correct.
Not to be confused with J Lee's Pinkhead, no apostrophe.
Oh, there are two.
I believe there are
got an
two.
imposter. Okay. J Lee apostrophe S is Pinkhead.
That's right.
All right. How about you to LLH5? Good dude, good poster, fantastic poster. How about you to TW4L Kerr?
Oh yeah.
How about you, Big Dog? Yeah,
that's my Prattville guy.
Is it?
Yeah, he's
he
a
is.
line.
Well, speaking of lines, how about you to Leo the Tiger?
There you go.
Yeah.
How about you to 3 Tech Taunt?
That's
3 Tech Taunt pays attention. I'll just put it that way. He pays attention to me. I appreciate him. How about you to Chris Todd for Heisman? How about you, B-Dog? How about you to Hang Low 7? How about you to Captain Obvious? And how about you to Cole freaking Pinkston? When the new offensive line offer went out last week and Cole went, this is what the new offer has to do with Andrew Babalola, and you clicked it and opened it up, and he went, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
How about you, Big Dog?
Well, I'd only been asked the question 8,000 times, so I figured, let's make a post.
Yeah, but the presentation, the delivery was just, it was
it was perfect.
Yes.
Oh, good.
All right, that's all I've got.
I've got 7.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and go through those. Jay Lee's Pinkhead was my first one. You already times 2. But I'll tell you, I see him, so he is my buddy for Tiger Walk.
Okay.
He is my buddy for Tiger Walk.
Was he the one who was kind of embarrassed at his name? He was like, yeah, I'm Jay Lee's Pinkhead.
No. That was Jay Lee's former spit cup.
Yes.
No,
which is the greatest name ever, dude. Like, don't ever be embarrassed that handle.
Jay Lee's Pinkhead could not be prouder of his name.
Okay, cool.
He's all about it. He said,
now I know why.
He told me, like, we go to hunting camp. Look, I put y'all show up on the screen, make everybody watch it. I mean, he deserves the help.
All right.
So
make that a ×3 then.
Okay, Big Dog.
Make that a trace. Yeah.
And I'm not gonna tell you what he does. I don't know if he wants all that out there, but
I hear you.
I see him at Tiger Walk. I will leave it at that.
Okay.
But also because right after I saw him this week, he went into the recruiting thread and he said, breaking news, interview with Cole Pinkston, just making sure you all knew he does wake up and piss excellence every morning. Can confirm. So Jaley's pink head, yes.
Okay.
How about old Hogbone?
Yes, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Because you know what? I like the people who have a good take one and then a take that they're not afraid to put out there, even though they're going to get berated. And Hogbone is that guy. He don't care. He's going to put it out there. And he said, you know what, guys? I'm not quite ready to give the Biletnikoff to the new receivers yet. Everybody's like, well, he didn't have to even why? And he's like, listen, it's just a little too much too soon. And boy, did that turn out okay. Not that they played, but it's just, the Alabama A&M game wasn't a great representation.
I like it, Hogbone.
And I think it's a great example of, hey, things are not always as good or as bad as they seem.
Absolutely.
All right, so good on you, Hogbone. Morgan JT, that's just Morgan and then JT, no spaces.
Okay.
Voice of reason. He's my voice of reason this week. NB Weagle.
Yeah, man, that's a good one.
NB
Weagle, the NBW are capitalized. It's all one word. On your post about the call-in show being tonight, he just put in quotations, "Hey guys, it's Don. I see you laughing at me, Alan."
I got to do that, dude. I lost it. Did y'all hear Don's voice when you read that post?
Yes. I see you laughing at me, Alan.
Times two to NBW Eagle or NBW Eagle, whichever one it is.
Yes, good stuff. All right, Born 2, the number 2, Barn, all one word. Born to Barn.
Born to Barn.
Met him. He took a picture, put it on the board, all that good stuff.
All right.
All right, and then BBP. He sends me a Bible verse almost every day.
Oh,
how about that, man? That's awesome.
You lift me up.
And as you're singing the song there, that's my last one, Dr. Malk. He sends me a Christian song every day.
Dr. Malk, good people right there now.
I will take that anytime you want to send it. I love it.
When you speak of me well. I hear you, Dr. Malk.
All right, Mr. Allen, what you got, big dog?
I got one, and it's for nobody on the board. 9/11 is a big day in my line of work, so just want to make a how about you to my DOD counterparts and everybody involved. It's something that happened 23 years ago that I'll never forget. Changed my life for sure. So just how about you to those people?
How about you to the DOD?
There you go.
The Department of Defense.
You got it.
Okay.
Very nice. Yeah. Yep.
Boy. Way to end it on a heavy note there, Alan.
How does it make y'all feel?
I tried to bring it down some.
How does it make y'all feel that I was in second grade when that happened?
Oldest. Never mind. I was about to.
I was in second grade.
Wow.
I was a freshman in college.
I was at the Randolph Leader in Roanoke, Alabama, watching it on I had never seen a computer. I mean, like, it was a desktop computer and it was an Apple.
Yeah.
And it was like fancy, man. They had just splurged at the Randolph Leader, bought this new, and I was watching it on that. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, you don't forget that. That's for sure.
No.
Yeah, just like the space shuttle explosion. I was in the gymnasium at Crumley Chapel Elementary School, and we watched it on the TV on the stand. You know, the roll stand with wheels. They roll the TV in there, plug it in. We were all the kids were in there watching it.
And then how quickly the teachers cut it off.
Yeah, they're like, all right, fellas, let's go back to class. Yeah. I don't know why that's funny, but it was.
What is their reaction, not what actually happened.
Right.
Yeah,
right. In the show, on a little lighter note, joking about the Challenger explosion.
Yes.
That's us. All right, let's do it. Let's end it there. We're going to be back. Go check out Cole's film room if you haven't already. Is that Auburn Live Plus, Cole?
It is, but if you're a member of Auburn Live, you get it for free on the corner. And I understand that it's, some people are complaining about the ads on there, but that's how we get it to you on the corner. And if you want to go to YouTube for $2.99 or whatever it is, you can do that. So
commercial free, no ads.
Free, yep.
Add Cole Pinkston to my Habachi because that was fantastic.
Okay.
I'm not saying this because Cole's right here, but honestly, guys, if you want a real feel for the game, if you want to understand some of the things that Cole says, or that you just want to be a little bit more educated around the water cooler, right? Like you want to be the person that when you're talking about football, you have an edge on everybody else. Watch Cole's breakdown. It's fantastic.
I appreciate it. And Zach McKinnell needs one because
yes.
He orchestrates it. He got my drawing tool. He did all that. And I meant to give him a Habachi, so there it is. And we'll end it there.
Zach is he's the real MVP of this show. I hope
he really is.
I hope everybody realizes that.
No doubt.
All we have to do is put our headphones on and talk because of Zach. All right. Speaking of Zach, he's going to put up an ad real quick. Jessica, don't forget, if you're Auburn Opelika, give her a call, man. If you need some real estate needs, she was absolutely the best in the business. I can attest to that. Give her a call, 334-704-4442. And as always, she's a 5-star. You can throw it up there at the end there, Alan. Tell her we sent you. All right, folks, that's going to do it, man. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. For Alan Head, for Cole Pinkston, for Zach in the back, I'm Jeffrey Lee, man. Y'all stay that left lane. See ya.